Yeah, Manoj, it's been started right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the demo session of SAP Ariba here. Okay. So before we start, let me brief little about Manoj and the procedure what we are following in the demo session so that everybody would be comfortable with the session. Yeah. So let me brief you about Manoj's profile. Okay. Manoj is having more than 15 years of experience in procurement. He worked in SAP MM and SRM, and since last more than 8 years he's working in SAP Ariba. Right now he is a solution architect in SAP Ariba with one of the big four companies. Okay, and also he is very good mentor. He is having very good experience in sharing the knowledge, teaching, mentoring a lot of consultants. So far he has trained more than 1,500 participants so far with us. So this is quick, this one, and he's having a lot of patience to take up all your question and answers. And the methodology which he follows is really going to be beneficial for everyone here. And this has been tested, guys. So this training is mostly geared towards practicality of SAP Ariba features. We are covering each and every corner of SAP Ariba here, right from upstream, downstream, and integration. And also we have included newer topics like SLC, guided buying, spot buy catalog, and new methodologies in integration as well. Okay. So just let me tell you everyone here, every one of you are muted here. Okay. So so that we can maintain, proper silence in the demo session till Manoj is going to present SAP Ariba features here. Okay, after the presentation, we'll be giving every one of you enough of time to take up the question and answer sessions. Okay, guys. So we really appreciate your coordination here. If at all you are having any queries, please write it down somewhere else. And once your turn comes up, you can raise your hands, and we are going to unmute you. But till the presentation is going on, we request every one of you to be unmute here. Thank you so much. Okay, Manoj, over to you. I'll be unmute again. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Eraj over here. It was a wonderful introduction over here. So, let us begin our session over here, guys. But before we begin with our session over here, uh, a few pointers. Okay. Already Eraj has given us, a very proper pointer over here, guys. But I want to add something more over here. See, first of all, this particular training, if you are, looking over there, so think of this particular training as a very, very different training from the training which is basically provided. Excuse me. Yeah. Excuse me. So think of this particular training as very much different from what the training are provided by the other competitors over there. That's the first thing. Second thing is like there are a few things which all of you should understand, and those particular things are like whenever we are trying to learn something new. Okay, so we have to understand that we have to learn this particular topic in a theoretical way or in a practical way. Why? Because whenever we are talking about in a theoretical way, it's good to understand the things, very good, you know but when you will go to a project over there, you will see 80% of the things which you have learned over there, it is not going to help you. You are able to crack the interview then afterwards when you're going into the project, and there basically you're not able to work, so you won't be able to keep the job over there. But if you look at the training from a practical perspective over there, means what? That means if you're looking from the training perspective, where if you are able to do the work which is happening in the project, that particular exposure if you're getting over there, so you would be able to crack the interview, and then when you will go to the project, there you don't have to think about survival, you would be able to do new things. So that is what we are doing over here, guys. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. First thing. Second thing, since this is a practical training, that means all of you, after taking the training, you can directly go into the project and you can start work on this particular project. Our methodology, our topics, each and everything are very unconventional. Okay, Keep this thing in your mind. That's the first thing. Second thing is like methodology changes means what? See, uh, you will be attending our demo session, and then you will be seeing our session. So everything in our session is basically sequentially arranged. It's not basically a chaos. Why? Because in between somebody is asking the query, some participant is asking the query, they will be having all these things. So what will happen is like if that particular chaos is running over there every day, you won't be able to cover the content over there. So that is why always remember in our session, whether it's a demo session or session 1, session 2 till the last session, remember one thing. Beginning of the session till the mid of the session, at least 70% of the session we will basically have a look at the content, basically what we will do in the project. Once we have a look at the content, then basically we will have the question answer session. So this is going to be not only for now guys, for every session. So if you are having any query, please note down those particular queries in a notepad or in a notebook over there. Okay, keep it with yourself. We are going to unmute you during the question answer session. So there you ask me all the question. We will be glad to answer all of your questions. Answer. We will glad to answer every question of yours. It's not an issue. But first, the content. Okay. So now, since you know about this particular thing, let us begin with our session over here, guys. So today is the demo overview session for our SAP Ariba. So first of all, if you look at the demo overview session over here, first of all, every one of you are going to ask me the same question. What do you mean by Ariba? And to basically simplify it, I will say Ariba is basically a procurement solution. Very good. Based on cloud architecture. Now, what is cloud architecture? I think most of you are able to understand what is a cloud architecture over there, guys. That means the client does not need to maintain a server. Client does not need to maintain any server over there. That means just like we use Gmail, how we will use Gmail over there? We don't need to install any Gmail application within our desktop. We will need a internet, and we will need what? A working browser. Within the browser, we will type in gmail.com, give our user ID password. We are able to use the services of Gmail. Same thing is with Ariba over there. Okay, so this is basically called as cloud solution, nothing else. Very good. Now, let us understand a little bit about the history of Ariba. Why? Because most of you might know this thing, but I can guarantee you guys, most of you cannot do the same conclusion which you are going to see in today's session. Yes, this particular fact, all of you might know, most of you might know this fact, but from this fact, the conclusion which you are going to see, that particular thing, I think most of you are going to see it first time over here. So let us try to understand it. So Ariba is not in, very new organization over there. It was founded in 1996, and at that point of time, Ariba used to always sell Ariba on-premise software. Okay, but right now, if you look at the Ariba cloud solution, all of you are going to say, Manoj, you are saying Ariba on-premise solution, but we are learning Ariba on cloud solution. When it was launched? So it was launched in 2010. Very good. In September 2012, SAP acquired Ariba. Okay. Now, what does this particular thing means? Simply, it would mean over here, guys, that 2010 Ariba launched the cloud solution. That's the first thing. That means it was developed in 2008, 2009. And when Ariba was bought out by SAP in September 2012, that means every architecture, every configuration, every process flow over there will be different from ERP. if you compare Ariba over there. First of all, you cannot compare Ariba with ERP. Why? Because Ariba is a procurement solution. ERP is an enterprise resource planning software. But if you want to compare MM with Ariba over there, this is the first shock all of you are going to get. So if you're coming from MM background over there or SRM background over here, guys, please don't think whatever process flow you have done, whatever configuration you have done, whatever architecture you have seen is going to work exactly as it is over here. It will never work. Okay, so please keep this thing in your mind. It's a very important thing. That's the first thing. Second thing which all of you are going to notice over here is every procurement software has two set of users, buyers and suppliers. Who are the buyers? Buyers are basically the internal employees of your client who will basically orders the goods and services. Very correct. Suppliers are the external users who will supply you the goods and services. Now, why I'm saying this thing? Because in Ariba's common architecture, buyer will have a separate user interface to log in. Supplier will have a separate interface to log in. Why this is important? Because this is one of the very big security risks, guys. In MM, you will see, or in SRM, same URL or same user interface will be used by the buyers, that means purchasers, as well as the suppliers. Small issue with the role, while the basis of the security guys are giving the role, if you give the purchaser's role by mistake to a supplier, the supplier would be able to see those things. That is where all the hell will break loose. But since Ariba follows two different user interface, one for the buyer, another for the supplier, not vice versa, what will happen? Here role does not concept. Yes, within the buyer, if you say somebody is end user and I'm admin, yes, that can be controlled with the help of roles in Ariba. But you cannot control the buyers and suppliers with the help of a role. Why? Because they will have access to different user interface. Very good. Keep this thing in your mind. And Ariba network, where basically suppliers login within their particular UI, it's the world's largest business to business network. Why? Currently 3.4 million supplier is present over there, guys. 3.4 million supplier. It's a huge thing. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Now, whenever we are talking about any of this particular process over here, okay, what does it mean by this particular process over here or solutions over here in Ariba? So you can see there are two solutions of Ariba, upstream solutions and downstream solutions. Very good. Now all of you are going to ask me what's the difference between upstream solution versus the difference between downstream solution. And see here I have written down a long sentence for upstream and a long sentence for downstream. Something, something, something. Now all of you are going to just question me over here. Manoj, you told us that this is a practical session. Not only for today's session, every sessions of ours is a practical session. Then why you are just copying and pasting your definition of upstream and downstream from a document? It's a very valid question. And to answer to all of you guys is like, yes, we have created this particular PPT to show you the difference between a theoretical training and a practical training. This is how a theoretical training will go on, but ours is not. So what we are going to do? We are going to open up a PPT. From our project exposure, we are going to basically define each of these solutions, upstream solution, downstream solutions, what are the different submodules present within these solutions. We are not going to use the PPT and theoretical knowledge. Okay, so upstream and downstream. Very good. But before going into upstream and downstream, I just want to basically understand two major type of procurement which you are going to see in every project. Two major type of procurement, and this is present in every system or basically every software, guys. You cannot just say this is only present in Ariba. Okay. Now, what are the two procurement type? Basically, one is for old products slash pre-existing product. Okay, old slash pre-existing products. That is the thing. And another is basically new products. Correct. So whenever I'm talking about old or pre-existing products or new products over here, what does it signifies over here, guys? Because we have to understand the difference. Because if we are not able to understand the difference over here, we cannot help it out. So first of all, older pre-existing product means what? This particular product exists where? In your system database. Correct? That is only one thing, guys. There is another thing to it. And that particular another thing is you have the source of supply. Now, if I'm supposed to ask you all, have any of you heard this term source of supply, guys? So if I am basically asking this particular question to all of you guys, source of supply, you can use your basically you can share your views, guys, with the help of the chat box within the GoToTraining app. So have you heard this term before? Source of supply? Correct. Correct. So most of you have heard this thing. That means basically the source of supply means, okay, this particular product I'm going to buy from which supplier? What is the price? Exactly that thing. So whenever you are getting an older pre-existing product, you know that particular product exists in your system. That's the first thing. And the second thing is source of supply is known. Source of supply is known means from which supplier I'm going to buy it, what is the exact price, that we know it. Very good. Now, if you go to the new product, what do you mean by new product? Doesn't exist in your database. No source of supply is present. That is basically called as the new product. Nothing else. Okay. So when I said there is two type of procurement, basically whenever you're going to do the procurement, okay, not only in Ariba, in any software, in any procurement software, you have to basically classify whether you are doing the procurement for pre-existing product or the new product. Okay, but in Ariba there is no concept of pre-existing product or new product over here, guys. We have to understand two things over here. The first thing is basically the technical terms which is used in Ariba. This is basically called as catalog items, and a new product is basically called as what? Non-catalog item. So some of you might have been wondering that what is this old pre-existing product, what is this new product, and all those particular thing. Actually, there is no terminology like that in Ariba. In Ariba, basically, we have the concept of catalog item and the concept of non-catalog item over there. Nothing else. Okay. So please keep this thing in your mind, guys. Now, first of all, okay, all of you are going to then question me, then what's the difference between upstream and downstream? You have basically told us, Manoj, the difference between catalog item and non-catalog item. So I will be saying, okay, guys, wait for it. Basically, in upstream, we will be doing the sourcing, contracting and all those particular stuff to basically what? To basically find out the source of supply. So if somebody asks you over here, what's the meaning of upstream or why we are doing upstream? Basically, you can say procurement related process where we will find the what? Source of supply. Similarly, if you ask me what is the meaning of downstream solutions over here, so here basically I will say procurement related process where we will do procure to pay and the source of supply must be known at the start of the process. That is basically called as downstream. Okay, so this is the basically meaning of upstream versus downstream solution over here, guys. Nothing else. Now, okay, can you, Manoj, can you just explain in much better what you can say in a much better way? And I will say, okay, procurement related process where we will find the source of supply. Okay, so basically, guys, out of these two particular object, you can see catalog item and non-catalog item. Where do you think source of supply is not present? Where is it, guys? Source of supply is not present. Catalog item or non-catalog item? Take a guess. For which one you don't have a source of supply? Exactly. Exactly correct. Non-catalog item. That means whenever you are doing a procurement for non-catalog item, first of all, you cannot just do the procure to pay process. Why? Because you don't know from which supplier you will buy, at what price you will buy. Because that is an important question for all of you. So, in short, I can say upstream is basically procurement process for what? Mainly, I'm saying mainly non-catalog item. Okay. Similarly, if you ask me on the downstream process, here I will say mainly catalog item. Okay. So this is the meaning of upstream and downstream, guys. See, that is what I'm saying over here from the beginning of our session, that whenever you are trying to understand something theoretically, it will be totally different as that of theoretical things. Why? Because in theoretical things, see, long-term procurement process where we will do the timely supply of goods and services that is critical to an organization ability to meet its core business objective, blah blah blah. This thing, if you read over here, all of I can guarantee that most of you will be saying, what is this? I'm not understanding a single line of this thing. And that is correct. Then what will happen? Most of us will basically rote memorize this thing and we will say this thing in the interview. You will get selected over there. Sometimes, not always. Then you will go to the project. Basically, client will ask, okay, we want to do upstream implementation. Tell me what is upstream, blah, blah, blah. Then client will say, I don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Explain me. These are the different sub processes over there. How you're going to implement it. That is where everything will fall apart. But if you go ahead with this practical purpose, that means what is happening in the project. From the project, we are trying to define project perspective, what is upstream and downstream. So you go to your client and you say, upstream is a particular solution of Ariba where we will find the source of supply, but mainly for non-catalog item. What is non-catalog item? Non-catalog is the item which does not exist in your database and no source of supply is present over there. That means any new product. Immediately your client will say, okay. I understood what you meant to say over there. Okay, then what is downstream? Downstream is basically a procurement of catalog items. That means catalog item means what? Source of supply is present and that particular product exists in your database. So what you will do? Directly you will order that particular item from the supplier. You don't need to find a source of supply. That is basically downstream scenario or downstream solution. So this is how, guys, you have to work from a practical project perspective. These things, this particular definition which I have used over here, this is not theoretical. If you go to any SAP Ariba books over there, or if you go to any standard guidebooks or administrative guides, there you're not going to find this thing. But if you go into the project, there you will see each and every words we have used over there is very, very correct. Whether it's a implementation or whether it's a support project. Okay. Now, let us try to understand the different solutions of what? Sub-solutions of upstream and downstream. So upstream basically is divided into few of the modules. SLP. Okay. SLP is basically standing for, guys, supply lifecycle and performance management. Very big name. What is the use of SLP? Basically to onboard any new supplier in SAP Ariba. Okay, that is the meaning of SLP. So you will be seeing that there are 3 sub processes in between it. Okay, 3 different sub processes within SLP. All of you are going to think, oh, onboarding supplier, it must be like that of a ROS kind of process in SRM, registration of supplier. But why 3 sub processes? All of you are going to say, why 3 sub processes? So here you have to understand something over here, guys, that is very, very different from what? From SRM or part over here. And what are those particular different thing over here, guys? Those particular different thing is pretty simple one. That is, here when the supplier will register in Ariba, correct? They are not registering in the same application. Why? Because you have to remember, Ariba buyer will be used by whom? By the buyer. Okay. Similarly, Ariba network will be used by whom? By the supplier. Correct. Now, both the UI is having different database. And in Ariba network, 3.4 million supplier is present. So of course, please don't think in Ariba network, basically Ariba will search for the supplier by its name. Gone case in that scenario. So there has to be some unique ID through which the whole linking can be done. Unique ID over there. What is that? Basically, that is AN ID. So always remember, each supplier will have an unique AN ID whenever they register in Ariba network. So that is why Ariba is saying to you, boss, yes, there are certain processes over there. Yes, that is not the only reason. Okay, I can say that is one of the reason, but that is not the only reason, guys. Okay, this is not the only reason, but yes, this is also one of the major reason. Okay, so when we are talking about supply request over here, it's a small thing. It's not a very big thing over here. Basically, we will collect some basic data about the supplier. Which data? Just like, whenever you will go to the bank and you will have to basically fill up the know your customer form, right? KYC. Same basic thing: supplier name, supplier address, supplier phone number, supplier email ID. These things we will capture from the supplier and we will enter the data. Supplier profile will get created. But remember, here basically supplier has not done the registration process. Why? Because they have not created their ID in Ariba network. Next, what we will do, we will invite them to the registration process. We will say, boss, register yourself in Ariba network. And once you register over there in Ariba network, what will happen? Very simple. ANID, unique ANID will be getting generated. And once the unique ANID generated over there, what will happen? It will get synced up. But before coming to this particular thing, guys, saying, boss, do the registration. Do you think tomorrow I will go to Procter and Gamble company and I will say, boss, I want to become your supplier? Procter and Gamble will say, oh, Manoj, we are waiting for you. Please come and be our supplier. Is it so? Correct. Never. Why? Because they will say, boss, we are, a big business over here. Everything, whatever we will do, you know, it has to make a sense over there. And every big organization will generally have a procurement policy. And within their procurement policy, they will have a supplier eligibility criteria. Exactly correct. They will have the supplier eligibility criteria over here, guys. Means, hey, boss, Manoj, very good. You want to become a supplier, very good. But see, any sourcing project which we publish, on an average, it is more than $2 million. Any PO which we generally order to the normal supplier, it is somewhere around in the range of 0.5 million USD. That means 500,000 USD. Can you do this kind of business? Then I will say, no, boss. Basically, I have done maximum business of 100,000 USD. Then they will say, Manoj, we are sorry, right now we don't have that particular option to enable you. Why? Because if we enable you, what will happen? There will be very, very high risk. You may supply other things or you may not, but there will be a very high risk. So what we will suggest is, like, you do some big project over there, or you work for some big organization over there. Once you are having the experience, then we will basically allow you to register and become a proper supplier with us. That is basically called as supplier eligibility criteria. Every big organization will basically check this thing. So that also is to be captured. And then what will happen? The approval will go to the supplier manager. Supplier manager will basically check the supplier eligibility criteria. If it is passed, they will approve the supplier registration process. If it is failed, they will reject it. Now remember, whenever basically your supplier registration process will get completed or approved, then only the whole Ariba network ID of the supplier will be linked up over here. Then what will happen? you can use this particular supplier where? In your normal processes. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. Now, why it is a need for supplier qualification over there? So basically, supplier qualification is a very important thing. Why? Because you are going to qualify a supplier for a particular commodity code and region. That's the first thing. Okay, and second thing is like generally the supplier qualification is linked with uh, contract compliance process. You'll see that later on over there in detail, that whenever you're going to do the supplier qualification, this will affect the supplier basically who are going to take part in the contract compliance. Okay, yeah. Now, once you have done this particular process over here, there is the second part that is coming over here, that is basically guys sourcing. Once again, sourcing. What is sourcing? And I will say to you guys, sourcing is nothing but tendering process. Basically, what you want to do over here, find a best source of supply, RFI, RFP, and auction. Now, if somebody asks you guys, or basically let me ask all of you guys, have you heard this term RFI before? Correct. Very, very correct. RFI basically stands for request for information. RFP stands for request for proposal. Exactly correct. All of you guys can take a proper guess over here. But we have to also understand a few things over here. What's the difference between RFI and RFP over here? So basically in RFI, what we will do is like we will call the different suppliers who will come up over here, and basically they will take part what? Take part in your process, and basically they are going to give the technical specification of the product over here. So always remember guys, RFI basically stands for what? Technical specification, nothing else. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. So RFI basically stands for technical specification, which we are basically taking from the supplier over here. RFP on the other hand basically means what? Request for proposal. This is where we will ask the supplier for what? To submit their price proposal to us. Very good. Auction. Now, auction basically we will use when we basically want a real time competition between the different suppliers for the bid. And in this particular thing, remember our main goal is to have the lowest price over there. Here, remember the only criteria for basically awarding an auction to the supplier is basically the price, nothing else. So keep this thing in your mind, guys. Okay. Now, if you ask over here, what happens at the end of the sourcing process, I will tell to all of you guys at the end of your sourcing process, what will happen is basically you will award the sourcing project to your supplier. That means what? Basically, that means, guys, at the end of your process over here, you know, for your non-catalog item, you will buy the non-catalog item from which supplier and at what price. What is that thing? That is nothing but your source of supply. Now, once you have done this particular thing, of course, it will not have any legal standing. Now, let's say you want to buy a laptop over there from any shop, right? Why you're going to take the receipt? We are always going to collect the receipt, right? That hey, we have buy the laptop. Why we want that receipt? Because of one thing, to prove the ownership of the laptop. To somebody ask us that hey, we need you to prove the ownership so that we can give you the proper support or service over there. We will need that thing. Similarly, for big organization over there, basically they need to provide a legal document which will prove that hey, you're having this particular terms and condition with the supplier. Show us that particular thing. Sourcing project is not enough to show that particular information. So this is where contract will come into a picture. So you ask me what is contract, I will say basically contract is nothing but a legal agreement between what? Between your buyer and supplier. Plain and simple, nothing more. But you have to understand over here, guys, that in Ariba, lot of basically people learn something which is basically called as what? Obsolete. Please don't try to learn obsolete contract. Why? Because contract will be divided into two things: DFS and ECA. Now, most of the particular trainers, they will never talk about DFS. They will say, hey, we are going to see the contract, we are going to see the contract authoring, we are going to see the contract task completion, each and everything. Very good. But they will not tell you that basically they are showing you the DFS contract. DFS basically stands for desktop file syncing. Now, what's the issue with this desktop file syncing? See, remember, the issue with desktop file syncing is not only with the contract process flow, it is also having a lot of issue with what? It is also having a lot of issue with your template configuration also. Excuse me. Okay, but DFS is basically an obsolete technology. Right now, if you go to ECA, this is basically called as enhanced contract authoring. What do you mean by enhanced contract authoring? Basically, this is the new technology over here. And basically, if you're going for any implementation, you're only going to witness ECA contract, not DFS contract. That's the first thing. So from the process flow point of view, you're going to see ECA contract. Very good. From the template configuration point of view also, guys, you're also going to face the same thing. You're going to face the ECA template configuration only. So once you learn the DFS things, once you go to the project over there, you are in for a nasty shock. You will only see enhanced contract authoring over there is coming. The process flow is totally different. The configuration is totally different. Okay. So please keep this thing in your mind. Okay. But at the end of the contract process, what will happen? Basically, you will have a active contract between the buyers and suppliers. So immediately all of you are going to say, very good, Manoj. I am basically having what? I am basically having the active contract with the buyers and suppliers, and basically I can do what? I can create a PO against this particular contract, or basically I can create a PR against this particular contract. Correct. Because that is what happens in ERP or in SRM. But nobody told all of you guys over here that what that what that upstream and downstream both are having separate database. Okay, it is having a separate database, and same thing for downstream too. And downstream is also having a separate database. Please don't think upstream and downstream both are two different things. The database is also different. Now, what will happen? So this contract which you were thinking, there is only one database. It will be available in the downstream automatically. This downstream, this particular contract is not available in the downstream. So what you have to do? So basically you have to talk about another module which is basically called as contract compliance. What do you mean by contract compliance? Contract compliance is a bridge between upstream and downstream, through which contract will be moved. That means what? That means it acts as a bridge between upstream and downstream, and it will basically move the contract from upstream to downstream over here. Nothing else. Okay. So that is where the functionality of contract compliance come into the picture. Nothing else. Now, once you go to the downstream, what is downstream? Very simply put, I will say mainly P2P, procure to pay process. Create a PR. After creating the PR, what will happen? PR approval process. Once the approval process has been done, PO will happen, or it will get created. Now this PO will be sent to the supplier guys in Ariba network. And from there, basically supplier can create ASN. Have any of you guys heard this term ASN before? What is it, guys? Correct. Advanced shipping notification. Very correct. Advanced shipping notification. It will be created by the supplier. Very good. After that, he will do basically do GR. The technical term for GR in Ariba is what? Receiving. After that, what will happen? Invoice will be created by the supplier in Ariba network. It will be replicated to Ariba buyer. Very good. After that, IR will happen. Can any of you guys take a guess what is the full form of IR? This will be created in Ariba buyer. Any guess, guys? Correct. Very, very correct. Invoice reconciliation. Or you can say invoice receipt also. But mainly the term I would suggest reconciliation. Okay. And after that particular guys, what will happen? Payment will happen. Now all of you are saying very good. Manoj, I understood the basic things over here. Very good. But here You are not talking about the contract, correct? The contract which you have basically created over here, and if you publish in upstream, then I will say very good guys, you are persistent. So what I'm going to do is like I will use the contract item basically to do what? To create this particular PR and carry out the same process. So guys, this will be also be called as P2P, procure to pay. No guys, this will be called as S2P. So what does S2P stands for? Basically P2P, I think most of you understand P2P stands for procure to pay. Similarly, S2P basically means what? Source to pay. And if you currently go in the Ariba market right now, every client of yours who is implementing Ariba will say, do you have exposure in source to pay? Can you implement source to pay? Lot of Ariba consultant is saying source to pay. We know about procure to pay, but what is source to pay? So this is basically the process which your client is asking guys. Basically implement this particular process. Very good. Very good, Manoj. But here, from where then the PR will be created? That is nothing but internal catalog items. From there only you are creating the PR and you are doing this whole process. This is called as P2P. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. Now, very good. So all of you are going to say, very good, Manoj. What else we are going to have a look? We are also going to have a look at guided buying. Guided buying is basically new user interface which you're going to see in downstream. Basically, this particular user interface is aimed towards the casual users, casual end user, and this UI will almost look that like that of a Flipkart, Amazon.com website like that. It will give you a feeling like that. It's a very easy part over there where the normal casual end user will not get lost. Where I will do what? They will not come into this particular kind of concept over there. We are also going to see how the catalogs are loaded over here and what are the different configuration which we are going to do within the catalogs. Similarly, we are also going to see the approval workflow over here regarding what? Regarding basically the static flow. The static means where the role is fixed or the approval is fixed over there. Okay. And then basically we are going to work with dynamic. Dynamic basically stands for approval lookup table. So approval lookup table means what will happen is like based upon some condition over here, what will happen? Your approver will automatically get selected for a particular level. So that is basically dynamic approval which we are talking about over here, guys. Similarly, in upstream, basically also we are going to see the template configuration. Why? Because in upstream, everything is basically controlled with the help of a template configuration, not something else. Okay. And at last, basically, there is concept of reporting, which we are going to see standard reporting over there. Basically, scheduling to run this particular scheduling job for this particular report to run in the background. That's the first thing. Second thing is also we are also going to see the customization, how you can customize this particular report without creating any enhancement request. That means through functional configuration also how you can customize. And the last thing, which basically I want to maintain for all of you guys is basically the integration. Excuse me, guys. What is there in the integration? Now, whenever I'm talking about integration over here, integration is pretty different. Why? Because most of the particular trainer, whenever or the Ariba consultant, whenever they will try to learn integration, they are going to say integration means all about configuration. And I will say it is wrong. Whenever you are going to build a building, whenever you are going to build uh, uh, a complex thing, the first thing which you are going to learn to basically build up is the base. If your base is not up to the mark over here, what will happen? It will always fall. Exactly correct. So the first thing in our integration session which we are going to see is designing what? Integration scenario. That is what we are going to do. That how to design the integration scenario. Which part of the process will flow in Ariba, which part of the process will flow in ERP, all of these things. Okay, keep this thing in your mind. Once we have done this thing, what next? Then basically we are going to see the mass data load. Yes, basically some of the data loads we have to do it manually. Why and where we are also going to understand, and we are also going to see the CSV files and why we have to do the mass data load over here. And the last thing basically which we are going to see is config. Because at that point of time you will be able to understand what is the configs. Why? Because yeah, excuse me guys. Because basically you know guys how the integration scenarios are getting configured over here. Okay, which part of the process is running where? So for all of you, integration over here, configuration will not be a tough thing for all of you guys. Okay, so keep this thing in your mind. So guys, this is what our demo overview session was over there guys. Okay, so before we go or proceed ahead with our question answer session over here, okay, please be attentive over here right now. Why? Because Eraj is also going to show to you a list of documents basically which we will share with all of you guys. Okay, those particular supporting documents are very important if you want to uh, clear the certification, if you want to improve your theoretical knowledge. Yeah, some of the time theoretical knowledge they will ask you. Okay, but that is the secondary option, not the primary thing. See, always remember our sessions over here are the primary thing in our what, in our batch, training batch. But apart from this, we have to also understand there are a lot of documents, lot of certification materials, lot of mock-up questions over there, lot of custom documents, lot of standard documents which are going to help you in much more understanding. Okay, so those things are pretty much important over here, exactly for learning also. So in those things basically Iraj is going to show to you right now. Okay, so just give me a moment over here, and Iraj is basically going to show all this particular thing to all of you guys. Just give me a moment over here, and thereafter only we will have the question answer session.
Yes, Manoj. Manoj, are you? Am I audible to you?
Yeah, very properly, Iraj. You are very much audible to me.
All right. So, guys, request all of you to view my screen. Yeah. I hope like every one of you can view my
Yeah,
screen properly.
yeah, Iraj. Your screen is properly, very properly visible over here.
Okay, great then. Okay. So guys, before we move on to question answer session, so there are a couple of things which I want to brief you about the training. Okay, apart from the training which Manoj is giving excellently, here are there are some of the documents, the recordings, the other things which we'll be sharing with you all. I just want to tell you in detail how the things are going to happen. Okay, so first thing is all the sessions, all the documents are going to be there in one of the G Drive folder. Let me open anything randomly over here. Okay, so these are the folders which we will be sharing to you, sharing with you everyone. So guys, I request every one of you to be little attentive here, so that if you can see the screen, you can understand what which are the documents I'll be sharing to you, and you can ask the questions later on. Okay, so there are totally 7 folders which we'll be sharing with you guys. So as I told you initially, all the sections are going to be recorded here, and these recordings we are keeping it in one folder, and all these recordings will be shared to you on daily basis. Okay, now the second is Ariba access. Ariba access will be given to every one of you for 2 months, 24/7. Okay, it means like there won't be any limitation in the access, like 2 hours or 3 hours you need to use it. Instead, like you can use 24/7 anywhere in the world. Okay, so this access will be 24/7 for 2 months continuously. Now the third is notepads. So notepads are basically like Manoj is showing just now, right, how the processes are happening over here. So these things will be discussing with in the class. So those also going to be logged in over here in the notepad, right? So these notepads also going to be shared with every one of you. For example, let's say I just take an example of catalogs. Okay, so how the catalogs process works here. So every step is being discussed in the class, also going to be logged in the notepad. So these notepads are also going to be part of your sharing now. So apart from this one, we also do have the documents here. So there are 3 types of documents. One is like one kind is like standard documents, where we'll get it from SAP directly, and the second category is like self-prepared documents, the standard process documents which will be prepared, and basically will be prepared by Manoj. And the third kind is certification documents. Okay, so we have categorized these documents with respect to upstream, downstream, and integration. Okay, the same kind of documents you can see it in the downstream as well. Okay, so these documents will be there, like these are the standard SAP documents where you can find very lengthy documents, right? So these also will be there here as part of the sharing. And apart from that, we do have like certification material. So if you know little about certification, you can understand, but let me show you. There are basically 9 certifications available here in SAP Ariba. I'm saying SAP Ariba, there are 9 cloud certifications available, starting from Ariba catalogs till Ariba integration. Okay, you can see here AR series, right? So all AR series is basically Ariba certifications. Now you'll be wondering like, how 9 certifications? So are there any specializations? No, there are no such kind here. Like SAP has categorized according to the the modules, like upstream majorly is coming Ariba catalogs, contracts, and sourcing basically. Then the other part, major part is P2P, like procurement, right? Procurement and supply chain collaboration, and there are different certifications available for downstream. Similarly, there is one certification available for Ariba integration, the last one you can see here, right? So this is the last one, the Ariba integration. So to support all this one, first thing I want to tell you is this training is basically covering almost 80% of all the certifications contents. Okay, and apart from this one, we do also have like a lot of material which will be there here to understand. To basically, these are the standard SAP material books, in the sense like for every certification there will be a standard book here, right? So these are the ebooks which will be provided to you. If at all you are willing to appear for any of the certification, then we can go ahead. You can go ahead with these referral materials. Okay, and apart from this one, we also do have the standard dumps, just to make an understanding like how the certification questions are coming in the exam. Okay, so these are the actual questions appeared in the previous exams, guys. So just I'm showing you like this is sourcing certification, right? Yeah, sourcing certification questions will be appearing like this. So this will help you to understand like the toughness and the complexity of the questions appearing in the exam, so that we can well prepare accordingly. So apart from this one, we also do have a lot of e-bytes, other materials. So those things are really going to be very much helpful for you. A lot of stuff is there here, guys. Apart from this one, we also do have SAP Learning Hub videos. So you know about what is Learning Hub, right? So Learning Hub videos are in this one. These are the videos which SAP has trained. SAP official training videos are there. Okay, so these videos are geared most towards theoretical aspects. And apart from this one, like there are so many videos here, a lot of material here, a lot of videos directly from SAP trainings. Okay, so this also will be very much helpful for you if you want to enhance your knowledge more on theoretical aspect. I can say like Manoj training, whatever we are providing the training here is more than enough for you. But still, like if you want to enhance more of your knowledge theoretically, so these videos are going to be very much helpful. And apart from that, recently I have downloaded some of the videos, some of the documents. Okay, so these are the documents which you can see, okay, which are very latest one we have done. I have downloaded here. Okay, so here basically upstream, downstream, and integration, in which like we have added CIG documents also. Just let me open any of the document randomly over here so that you can have a clarity on this. Let me open this, any one of this document. Yeah, so I just want to show you these are the most recent documents which is there here. Contract management, and one second. Yeah, if we are talking about sourcing is the, yeah. So here you see all the documents are the most latest one, 2020 documents. This is the February one. And if you're talking about anything like reporting, these are all SAP upstream documents. Okay, so yeah, this is also February 1, 2020. And let's say anything which open actual configuration, this is also February 2020. So it means like you will be getting all the most latest documents over here. And I think this is some more latest. Yeah, so all these documents are the most latest documents which we have with us. And apart from this one, we have certain project documents, which are basically, these are the three major important documents which you will be needed for the projects, like business requirement workbook. Let me open it here. Yeah, so you see here, yeah, these are the documents like business requirement workbook, best practices documents. So here you can see there are a lot many things to learn here. We are going to discuss these documents, as well as we are sharing these documents with every one of you. And there are certain standard templates also. Okay, like just let me open. Yeah, so this is basically the functional template. Okay, functional configuration template, where when you are starting any project, so we have taken it out, all the customer name and all those things. So this is the standard template where you are going to fill it up your things. You can make a start of this particular document. So these are the best practices documents, guys, which is covering almost everything on any project. So all these documents pertaining to the project, I mean to say implementation project, are also going to be shared with every one of you. Not only sharing, we are going to discuss these documents little bit in the last sections as well. Okay, so apart from this one, guys, so this training is approximately 35 to 40 hours of training, in which we are covering each and every aspect of SAP Ariba, as we told you. And this training is majorly practical training, not like theoretical training. Okay, and if you're talking about weekday session, so this demo session is for the weekdays. In the sense, Monday to Thursday we'll be having this session, 2.5 hours each day. Monday we are starting from 8:30 to approximately 10:30 or 11 o'clock. We'll be finishing the session, and the same thing goes to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So 4 days in a week we are having. 3 days you have the time to practice, and the completion would be within a month for this particular batch. Okay, and in between, like after 80% of the course completion, we are also going to create the WhatsApp group among the participants, so that you can discuss your queries. You can share anyone with everyone, like if you are having any openings or any other things, so that it would be easier for you to get collaborate with each other. So this is a quick glance what exactly you'll be getting as part of the training. And if you are having any queries related with the administrative aspects or subject thing, please raise your hands. I'm going to unmute you one by one. Okay, it's PM, guys, PM. Yeah, AM for US and PM for IST. Okay, Indian time 8:30 PM IST. Yeah. All right. So please raise your hands, guys, so that I'm going to unmute you one by one. You can ask your queries over there. Yeah. Please raise your hands, guys. I'll start with Yashwant. Yeah, Yashwant, please unmute yourself. Yeah, Yashwant, you need to unmute yourself, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Okay, so you just said about the certification. I mean, are those certifications valid for quarters? I mean, so quarterly certifications, they are valid or they are valid for lifetime? I'm not sure. I mean, I've heard about those certifications. The certifications, are those valid for 4 months or they are valid for lifetime? Say as an
No,
ISO
once you
SAP
write a
certificate.
certification, that those will be valid for not, I can say, lifetime, till the next version. I can say it may be like for 2 years at least, 1 or 2 years, depends upon which certification you are taking up. Unless there is a major change, we can't say when the major change is coming. Sometimes they'll say like after 4 quarters, or sometimes maybe 2 years as well. So it depends upon the next major change, your certification is going to be valid. And after that, they'll be, now they have introduced a kind of enhancing some kind of assignment they are going to give you. And if you get through those assignment, again you can renew your certifications accordingly. Because here in cloud certification, once you enroll for the cloud certification with SAP, you will be given 6 attempts in 1 year. It means like one certificate you can attempt for 6 times, or you can write 6 different certifications if you are clearing in a one row. You're getting my point. Let's say you are appearing for sourcing certification. Okay, now in first attempt somebody unable to clear the certificate, still they have like 2 more attempts to clear it. So maximum in 1 year for one certification there are 3 attempts. If you cannot clear that particular certificate in one year within 3 attempts, so it will not be valid to appear for the same one, but still you have 3 more chances for the other one. So that's how they planned it now.
Okay.
Yeah, is there any more questions, Yashwant?
No, and shall we be covering the part as in SAP integration with Ariba, or means integration purpose? Once you have covered it, that integration part will be covered.
Of course,
But then
we'll be
you just
covering.
said,
Yeah, of course
you
we are
just said
covering integration part, because
in
integration
last.
is one of the very vital thing over here. Yeah, integration definitely we are going to. You see, like as I told you initially, there are 3 major parts over here. One is upstream, downstream, and integration. Okay, and upstream and downstream are the major parts over here. Almost 70% or 80% of the coverage would be there on upstream and downstream. And also we are covering integration as well. So integration is very important. So we are going to discuss the major scenarios in integration, and also we are doing the integration aspects. Okay, so yeah,
Okay.
Balraj, I want to answer your question. Like there is no separate fee for the different certification. As part of the course, we are covering all 9 certification contents over here. And to apply for the certification directly from SAP, you need to take one cloud certification, in which 6 certifications you can write it on. Their cost is approximately, depends upon your geographical location. Tentatively, I'm saying $350 to $400, in which you can write 6 different certifications. Yeah. And if you are taking from SAP, that will cost you like very high price. So all the 9 certification training, if you are taking from SAP, it will cost you approximately 4.5 to 6 lakhs. Yeah, 6 lakh rupees, Indian rupees, I'm saying. Yeah. Thank you. So I hope, Yashwant, I have answered your query.
Yes, I'm clear with it.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, we move on to the next one. Suresh.
Yeah,
Suresh.
hi. Yeah,
Yeah, hi.
hello. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, all right. Just a basic question. With respect to the Ariba roadmap, is that it's going to completely replace, SRM by Ariba, or is it more of a complementary to SRM, or cloud product complementary to SRM? How do you see that?
Okay.
Uh,
So basically, yeah,
yeah,
Raj, I think let me reply to Suresh's question over here.
yeah, sure.
Yeah. So basically, Suresh, SRM, I think we already know that by 2025, SAP is basically in 2025 we are basically going to see what we are going to see the uh, what
You mean
the
to say the end
ongoing
of license?
exactly the end of support from what the end of support for SAP SRM from SAP Ariba side. That's the first thing. Second thing is like if you look at Ariba over there, basically Ariba is a procurement solution. So yes, you are quite right over here, Suresh, that whenever you're saying that Ariba is a replacement for SRM. Yes, very correct. If you had said that, Ariba is a replacement for MM, I would not have agreed. But SRM, yes, exactly, you are correct over there. Second thing, Ariba is not looking for the same roadmap as that of SRM and Ariba over here. Why? Because if they would have looked at the same over there, they would have increased this particular end of service date to by another 5 or 6 years. They are not extending that particular date. Why? Because they are basically nudging their customers to basically move from SRM to Ariba. Not only moving from SRM to Ariba, but it will be a movement of on-premise to on-cloud services over there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this is basically your answer. So basically, yes, you can say Ariba is totally looking to replace SRM out of it. But yes, they are giving a little bit more extended line till 2025. But I don't think so. Most of the company is going to wait till that particular timelines. You can say majority of the company by 2022 or 23 only they are going to move from SRM into Ariba. There will be certain clients, very less client, who will be still be waiting till 2025. But then for them it will be a very tough time.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Just another more question, like, with respect to the
Yeah.
Ariba product that's been provided by SAP. Yeah. From the licensing perspective, if you say it's more of a volume based, or it's more of a tenant based kind of, what sort of product that we do get from SAP? If you say about SAP Ariba as a whole product, or
See,
it's more a
Ariba,
different package? Yeah.
yeah. So basically, Ariba does not have a licensing cost. If you talk about, excuse me, the on-premise solutions from SAP over there, Ariba basically will charge you for the support fee as well as for the licensing fee. But here in case of Ariba will basically charge you not for the license fee. They will basically have the subscription fee for using this particular solutions over there. So subscription fee basically look at the solutions which you're using. Now, if you are only interested in upstream or you're only interested in
Mhm.
downstream and the number of data which you are using, that means how many
Mhm.
master data you're going to use, how many transactional data you're going to use, there will be different slab for it. So based upon these two combination, Ariba will give a quotation to a client. Based upon that, the client will also do a little bit of negotiation and then they will sign the contract. So this is
Okay.
how the product pricing comes into the picture
All
for
right.
Ariba.
All right. All right. Okay. With respect to the process that's been, whether it would be handled over there in the Ariba, or it can be pretty much handled over there in the MM part of, ERP. Is that any clear guideline? Okay, Ariba will, these process Ariba, if we handle it in Ariba level, it would be good, or we need to still rely upon in MM perspective, or do we
So
have any,
there is no, there is
comparisons? Mm.
there is no standard guidelines. Why? Because yes, there exist some guidelines over there, but I won't say that as standard guidelines. Why? Because every client will have their custom business process. So yes, if you are talking about the standard business process, for standard business process, yes, you are having a standard business process guide over there. Okay, but we know
Mhm.
that every client will not have standard business process. They will have their own custom business process. So whenever you will be taking the standard roadmap, based upon that, if you are going to decide or design what basically your
Yeah.
integration
Mm.
scenario, it will always fail. So that is why
Mhm.
whenever you have to basically design a integration scenario, always remember, please don't use the standard Ariba integration suite over there to basically that particular document to basically create your own integration scenario. Ask your client what is the process looks like, how they want to carry it out over there. Now, based upon that particular thing, you should also have some project exposure, like 4 or 5 project if you worked on that particular thing. So basically clients requirement and that exposure, if you combine both of these things, then only basically you can do the design integration scenario. So that is why
All right.
we are going to cover the first within the integration sessions only. This is the first topic which we're going to cover in our session.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Any other queries, Suresh?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Manoj and Arij.
Yeah. Welcome, Suresh.
Yeah, thank you, Suresh. Yeah. Subramanian? Yeah, Subramanian?
Hey, hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay. I have these questions. Did I hear it right that you said the system access is provided for 2 months? Because
Yes.
the training covers 1 month already.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
and can you extend that?
Yeah. It means like let's assume, like not assume, basically you are starting the first session from Monday onwards. Okay. So today is Thursday, right? Thursday we have the demo session and we'll be taking 3 days for the enrollment process here. And actual training we are starting from Monday onwards. Okay.
Mhm.
Monday, that means like from 27th of April. So from 27th of April, the first session will start. So we'll be assigning you the access on 27th itself, so that you can start practicing the time when the sessions are happening. You can practice simultaneously. Yeah. So from 27th of April to 27th of May and 27th of May to 27th of June, your access will be valid. It means 2 months. So during the training, 1 month and plus 1 month extra you'll be getting it. And this access is 24/7.
No, that's right. Okay, for people who are working, okay, and going for certification, will you be? Are we using a demo system from SAP, or is this the? Are you giving access to on-premise somewhere?
No, there is no on-premise. This is on cloud only. This is directly from SAP Ariba. So there is
Okay.
no on-premise solution for Ariba actually. So this is a cloud solution which will be giving directly from SAP Ariba. Yeah.
What if we wanted for more months, like not 2 months,
Yeah.
say, for 3 months?
Okay, that is on pay per month basis. So after your free access, you can request, you can let us know, like if you want for 1 more month or 2 months. So based upon the availability we are going to give you, that is on pay per month basis. So the cost and all we can discuss it later on. Yeah.
Okay. Second thing I heard is, because I know about this, the examination fee, SAP Cloud examination fee is $505. Okay. I completed two certifications. Okay, that's why I know that last year. Okay. Now, like somebody asked this question already. Does these certifications follow the same process as other certifications that we took from SAP Cloud, like sourcing and procurement? Okay, I completed. Okay, so it already expired. They asked me to pay again and take it. Which is there anything like Ariba certification which lasts for ever?
As I told you already, like as I answered this question with like somebody like Ishwant asked me, right? So it depends upon like the major changes. If there are a lot of major changes, then definitely they'll be asking you to reappear or asking you to take up some, there is some kind of, I'm just forgetting the name actually. Yeah, so you need to enhance your certification, that one. So that's not as difficult as, like first time you're appearing. So it would be some simple sort of, activities you need to do. After that, your certification is going to be renewed.
Okay.
And that depends upon the major change. If there is no major change, your certification is going to be valid. Maybe 2 years, maybe more than that as well. And they are going to intimate you. They are going to inform to you like these are the changes is going to happen. If you wish, you can renew your things by so and so process. Yeah.
So the next question is, are we allowed to do the configuration and the design on a cloud system?
Yes, of course, yes. Because the major idea of giving you the access is to practice to do the configuration by your own. Unless until there is no point, you are learning theoretically over here.
So this is a demo system which comes with, it is a demo system which comes with the implementation for a customer. Is that right? The
Yes,
first
you are
phase,
right. Yes, you are right.
initial phase where
Yes.
you get touch and feel. Okay. Okay. All right.
No, you just don't compare this system with the IDEA system how we do have in ECC, right? So ECC IDEA system is totally different. So you see, like ECC concepts are different than this cloud concepts. So we need to understand this thing. So in ECC also we do have one is like client system actually, another is IDEA system. IDEA system is for learning purpose, in which you already have lot of data here. There is no concept of IDEA system here in SAP cloud systems. Like in SAP Ariba, there is one system only. The same system also can be used for the implementation of the project, and the same system we are using it for the training purpose.
And sorry for too many questions. The next question is.
No, it's absolutely fine.
What is it integrated with in the backend for SAP? Is it S/4HANA on like what is it integrated with? And for
I mean, like in general, you're asking, or how? What's your question like?
no. The SAP system that is integrated with this Ariba. What system is it? Is it the latest 1909?
You mean to say the access which we are giving to you, that you are asking, or you are asking?
No. See, what is the system you are interfacing with? This particular system, Ariba system. Okay, where does it create the PR, PO? Okay, in the backend ERP system. Is it what type of system is it? Is it what kind of system is it? Is it a HANA system or is it a ECC system?
Subramaniam, just a moment over here, Iraj. Subramaniam, see, the thing is like, I think what Iraj is basically clearly mentioning to you over here is we are basically having an on-cloud system. Now, on-cloud system is like not, we cannot, take that particular software and we cannot install it within our system. So basically, we have to take this particular subscription from SAP Ariba after paying out some money. So basically, SAP Ariba will ask you whenever you will take the subscription, whether you're going to implement Ariba for your business or you're basically using it for doing some kind of partner related things. That means whether you're going to do some training or whether you're going to do some client POC or not. So these are the two things. So we are not going to use it for our business. So we told to Ariba over there that we are basically looking for the channel sales partner and all those particular thing concept. So immediately Ariba will note down over there for training / demo or POC purposes over there. So whenever we are using Ariba solutions for training or Ariba, demo purposes over there, we are not allowed to integrate our Ariba solutions with ERP. So that is why what we will do is like from our ERP solutions, we will basically use the CSV file. From there, we will copy this data and we will load this data manually within Ariba over there.
So you're talking about, can you repeat, is it a CIF file you're talking or a core interface?
No. CIF file is basically catalog interchangeable file format, right? That is basically used to load catalogs data. We are not talking about catalogs data over here. We are talking about the master data, generally the master data over there. So how we will load this thing? With the help of a CSV file format.
Okay, CSV, comma separated. Okay.
Exactly.
So we are not going to look at any kind of interfaces for.
No, we are going to look. We are going to look over here. See, that is the thing. The thing is like from our project, I think Iraj, it would be wise that if you can share this particular screen and you can show that particular document, like integration document, which we will be, using for our presentation over here.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically what we have done is like, we have basically prepared a document over there by taking the screenshot whenever we have worked in our project. So from that particular project, we have prepared this particular guidebooks by taking the different screenshot, explain you the different configuration steps, what you have to do and why you have to do it. So the same thing when the interfaces will come over there, we will use this guidebook to basically tell you how to do the configuration and where to do the configuration. But remember, these particular things will be mostly be done by your basis consultant, because these technical configuration settings in SPRO you will not have access. As a functional consultant, we will not have access. Basis consultant will have the access. So we have to help them out. So what are the different information you're going to give them? So that particular thing we are going to tell in our configuration session. So that is why I said in the integration, remember that is the most important thing.
You're breaking up. You're breaking up. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we are not going. We are not going to practically see when you create a budget like your contract. Okay, migrating to or migrating or getting transferred to the backend system. You know, ERP system, that we will not see. You will only create a contract, and we assume that the contract is going to the backend. Okay, and getting somebody creating a PR. Okay, and all that. That portion we will not see.
Practically, we are not going to discuss, because you see, Subramaniam, as Manoj said very rightly here, integration is, the job of not one consultant. Okay, only Ariba consultant is not supposed to do everything. There are 3 to 4 consultants got involved in this one. One is Ariba consultant who is leading the project. Other is basis guy. Other is ERP functional consultant, either S4 HANA or ECC or SRM, whichever it is. And another is like, ABAP as well, if there are certain logics to be maintained.
All right, I got the answer. I got the answer. Thank you.
Yeah, but as part of the the integration for with respect to Ariba, we are showing each and every aspect. Even data loads also we are going to see practically over there. Proper data loads we are going to show it very practically. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any more questions, Subramaniam?
No. Enough of questions I asked. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you.
Others
okay.
Take care now. Yeah. Thank you. I'm sorry, guys. Many questions.
No problem. Yeah. Absolutely fine. Yeah. Rohini, you can go ahead with your question. Rohini.
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Rohini.
Yeah. Hi. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. I basically have a technical background, and I've already been working in SAP Ariba from the technical perspective. Basically, my client is moving from Ariba on-prem to Ariba Cloud. So I just want to know, how would I be benefited from this course? Like, are you going to also talk on the technical aspects or only on the functional things?
On this part, Rohini?
Yeah, Manoj, please go ahead. Yeah, it will be the right person to answer.
Exactly. Yeah. So Rohini, basically remember one thing over here. See, whenever you're moving from on-premise to basically on cloud over there, even you cannot bring anything over there, like on-premise to on cloud. That's the first thing. Second thing, as you know, in on cloud there is no technical rules. Only Ariba functional consultant is present, and that will be your job. So basically, when you're moving from the on-premise to on cloud over there, basically what is happening is like the only thing which is going to help you while moving from on-premise to on cloud is basically a little bit on the process knowledge which you're having. None of the basically CXML skills which are you going to use over there, or basically none of the Java coding over there is going to help you over there. So the first thing first which you have to do is like you have to forget about all this particular coding, forget about the database, forget about all these query languages, and move towards the functional thing. That's the first thing which you have to do, and that is what our training always tries to do. That is, move towards the process. Once you start understanding the process, then what we will do is like we will attack the configuration. So once you attack the configuration over there, and once you understand the configuration over there, then the third thing which we are going to do is basically the integration. Once you understand these 3 things, Basically, you can work in any Ariba on cloud implementation or support over there. So basically, remember, yes, one advantage which you're going to get is like the process flows over here will be almost be similar. Some of the options from Ariba on premise and Ariba on cloud, you will see it is almost similar, but the whole configuration will be totally new because here there is nothing function, technical. Everything is in from functional perspective. So that particular thing you have to learn properly in our session.
Okay, so there is nothing as a technical that I can be benefited from, right? Because as you said, this entire course is related to the functional configuration and functional things.
No, it's not like that of a course only of ours. Basically, remember this is what Ariba will happen. So whenever you will move to Ariba cloud over there is nothing technical over there. Okay,
Okay.
so always remember, whenever you want to change the source code and all those things, we have to create an enhancement request in connect.ariba.com, and Ariba engineering team, that means Ariba employees who work in the engineering department, they will have access to the source code and they can change all this particular source code. We will not have access to any technical things. So according to the terms and conditions of Ariba's access, neither the client, neither the service provider will have access to the technical things or technical objects over there. So we are only having access to the technical things. So whenever you are going to any Ariba on cloud for implementation or support project, you have to be a functional consultant. So the same thing we are also doing over there. It's not like technical things are present in Ariba on cloud, but we are not doing. It's not present at all from the service provider or from the client side. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, Manoj. Thanks for the information. Basically, I do not work on the Ariba end, but suppose you create a PR and that is interfaced through CIG to ECC to create a PO. So in that case, there's a standard FM that is going to create a PO in the ECC end, and
Yeah.
if when we have a requirement where we need to address the custom fields, so I play a role where I implement the baddie and
Yeah.
those kind of things. So basically,
Yeah.
I'm working on the ECC end to support
Yeah.
the cloud requirements.
Yeah. Okay, so basically, yes. So in that case, you basically will be shifting your profile from that of a technical integration consultant to that of a purely Ariba functional consultant. Yes,
Okay.
integration also we will look into this, but remember that will be that of a functional integration consultant, because at the
Mhm.
end of the day, we will not write code. Yes, we are going to give the logic to the technical person that okay, these are the custom field mappings over there, these are the custom filters which you have to use over there, which we have to talk over there. No issues on this part, but we are not going to write the code. So always remember, in Ariba you have to be a functional consultant. Only why? Because functional consultant role is only available over here.
All right. Thank you so much. That's great. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
welcome
Thank you,
guys.
Rajni.
Yeah.
One second. Just a second. Yeah. Kumar. Yeah, Kumar, please go ahead with your question. Hello, Kumar. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Yeah. Hi, Kumar. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hi. Thanks, Manoj. And it's really a good session. I got some details about that. Details, and then most of my questions has been already raised by some other participants. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you are
Yeah.
Okay.
audible,
Yeah.
Kumar. Please go ahead.
Quick two things. One is like regarding most of the questions everyone has asked about the integrations, like the same thing. I would like to check one thing. So, what are the things that be covered in integrations? Like, is it like upstream integration and downstream integration, and as well as the like which middleware, like ITK or CIG, would be used by CIG, or will you be explaining the SPRO configurations? And what could be the topics covered in integration part?
Okay, so first of all, Kumar, we are basically looking after the upstream integration. We are looking at a downstream only integration and then upstream plus downstream integration, right? H2P means both. Uh, so basically, we are looking after this particular three solution. Why? Because some of the client will have only upstream solution, some of them will have only downstream solution, some of them will have both upstream and downstream solution. And if you look at specifically the integration, basically we are doing a CI9 versus CIG kind of thing. We don't do ITK. Why? Because ITK is almost obsolete. Not almost, it is already obsolete over there. I think that is why we will do the CI9 versus CIG kind of integration within our configuration over here.
So it's a CI9 and as well as CIG, right? Both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So CIG direct add-on or with any middleware like CPI or PR?
So see that particular thing, it's up to the client over there, right? We cannot take a decision over there. Basically, yeah.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good. So that would be covered with both master and transactional data. Right?
Yeah, basically, yes, always integration means only master data and transactional data, right? So we have to cover both of these things.
So you're going to explain each of those interfaces available in the transactional master, right? Like for example, master data.
No. That is see. The thing is like you are basically constructing a room. Okay, you're constructing a building, right? Now, once you're constructing a building over there, you know how to build a room within the building. That we don't need to explain to everybody that okay, you are having 1,000 rooms within a building. Once you have understood how to build a room, that how to build a 1,000 room once again. So interface, yes, we are going to understand, but remember the same interface like this we are not going to understand again and again. So what we are going to do is like we are going to club this particular interface into certain categories. Like okay, for master data we are having some interface, for transactional data we are going to have those interface, and then basically we are going to talk about the commonality of that particular feature. So if we are basically understanding each and every interface over there, there will be certain around 50 to 100 interfaces, and that particular thing will take basically 2 months to 3 months.
Yeah, basically my question is like specific, like which operations will be done in Ariba and what is actually expected in backend ECC system. So very high level.
So,
yeah, that's
basically that is we are already covering in the integration scenario, right? Designing like okay, where the PO you're creating, why you're creating the PO in ERP, why you want to create the PO in Ariba over there, what are the advantages, what are the disadvantages. That basically we are going to see in details for each of the scenario within the integration scenario. Now in basically whenever we are talking about interfaces, so interfaces basically means the web services which we are going to use. So those particular things are very much technical in nature. So in those cases, basically we will say, okay, use this web interface over there, and this particular interface is going to help you. But each and every interface we cannot have a look. That means, okay, what is the web services for each of this transactional document? That I was talking.
Got it. Thanks. That's it. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Welcome, Kumar.
Yeah, thank you, Kumar. Harish. Yeah, Harish, please go ahead with your question. Yeah, Harish.
Hear me? Hi, Manoj.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hi,
yeah,
hi.
Harish, we are able to hear you.
Good evening. Good evening. I have a couple questions. Like you say, when we get hands-on practice, right? Do we be able to do the life cycle?
Yeah. So basically, life cycle. You're asking about the life cycle of the supplier.
Yes.
Yes, definitely. See, this particular process, whenever you're seeing over here, this is nothing but your life cycle, right? Request, registration, qualification. But yes, I do know. Basically, you want to ask that how, if I want to delete a supplier, how we will do the deletion of supplier. Then basically, we want to do the integration of supplier with the help of SLP. How? So those things basically we are going to have a look in our integration session. So there you will see we are going to see the SLP mass data load, and basically we are also going to see the integration. In that particular session we are going to see this SLP part. That means remember, whenever we are basically talk about mass data load, bulk data load, So basically, the first session we are going to talk about individual data records, which are going to get created after the go live.
Okay. Thank you, Manoj. And I think you have been explaining to some other participant about this XCML. We don't need that in Java cloud applications anymore. If the client is still with the on-premises application, then we need XCML knowledge, right?
So basically CXML, yeah. So basically you
CXML,
don't need, you don't need CXML, see in Ariba functional console, Ariba project, especially on cloud project, no technical knowledge is required. You can say no technical. Why? Because Ariba side, any source code changes which you want to do, basically you will see we will not have access to those things. Only Ariba employees who are working in engineering department, they will have that particular access.
Okay. Inside
They will have that particular access.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there anything with this one with sorry, what do you call S4HANA is anywhere related to Ariba too in integration?
So basically, integration means whenever I am saying Ariba is getting integrated with ERP, ERP means either ECC or S4HANA. So either or. Your client can have either ECC or let's say they have moved on to S4HANA. So in either of these two solutions can be integrated with Ariba.
Okay. Thank you, Manoj. Thank you. Those were all questions. Some of questions been answered by you already by some other participants. So I'm good. Thank you, Manoj. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Welcome, Harish.
Thank you.
Okay, guys. So is there anyone else who has any queries? Please raise your hands, guys. If not, we can conclude the session for the day. Yeah, Ellison. Yeah, Ellison, would you please unmute yourself?
Okay. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, we can.
Okay. How you guys doing? Thanks for the demo presentation. It was really good. I guess my main question is I needed to clarify the time because I'm in the US Eastern time,
Okay.
and the second question is the sessions, are they going to be recorded? So if I ever miss one, so I can catch up later.
Yes. To answer your second question first, yes, all the sessions which you are attending also going to be recorded. In the middle, I have shown you the folder, right? Google Drive folder, which we are sharing with every one of you. So not only the recorded sessions we are sharing with everyone, but also there are a lot many documents which we are sharing with every one of you. So on the daily basis, every session is going to be recorded, and we are providing the recording on the same day itself.
Okay, so when you say that the folders that you're sharing, do you mean you're giving us access to it, or you're going to send it to us individually?
No, we are giving the direct access to you, and this access for all the folders will be available lifetime.
Oh, okay, all right, okay,
yeah.
Great.
So, and with respect to the timings which you asked, like, so that would be your 11 a.m. for you, EST time zone, you said, right? You're in EST time zone.
Yeah, yeah, Eastern time zone. So like today, is it going to be exactly like this time today, 11 a.m.?
Yes, 11 a.m. Every day is going to be 11 a.m. to 12:30 at 1 a.m. 1 p.m. for you. 12:30 p.m. or 1 p.m. for you.
Okay,
daily
11
2
to
and a
1.
half.
Okay.
Yeah, 11 to 1 or 1:30. Yeah.
Okay, so and what would be the duration if we do 2 hours daily, Monday to Thursday? You said
approximately 3 to 4 hours, 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
So 3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 to 4 weeks.
Within a month you can finish. Yeah. Within a month you can finish the course. Because daily we are spending 2 and a half hours.
Okay. All right. I actually worked on Ariba before. This was when before it was even bought by SAP. This was basically when it first came out. So it is more like I'm trying to enhance myself, and I've not worked on it ever since. So, but I still have a good understanding of what you. I mean, I love what I saw. Yeah, so far I really like what I've seen. So I'll be looking forward to an email for the registration. And
Yeah, sure.
yeah, okay. All right. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you can, yeah, you're most welcome. You can connect with our sales team, like our business relationship executives, either Nikita, Sana, Harsha, or anyone who are in touch with you. They'll be helping you out for the registration process over here. And to add a few more words, like you have already worked in SAP Ariba before 2011, that's really going to be very helpful for you, because a lot of processes are already same, and there are many new processes been included over here, like
Yes.
SLP, guided buying, and all these are the newer features which are got enhanced. You see, after 2017, there are a lot of drastic changes here happen in SAP Ariba. So that's really going to be helpful for you to enhance your knowledge more into it.
Okay, great. So if I am much geared towards procurement.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I were to do the certification, would I have to do like the sourcing, contract management, or I'm just gonna? How many certification would I do as a procurement person?
Advisable, like we always advise our participants to go with upstream certifications first, like sourcing or contracts first. Then later on you can go to downstream, like P2P process. So no need to go for all the certifications, that nobody is going for all the certifications. The prominent one right now are like contract, sourcing, and procurement, P2P. Yeah. So if
Okay.
you have
So
one or two, that's more than enough. Yeah.
so you don't really have to have all the certification. One or two is
Nobody is
enough.
having, yes, nobody is having all the certifications. Yeah, only
Oh,
one or
okay.
two is more than enough. And actually, certification is something like which is not really mandatory. Is is an optional thing, but it will enhance your means, like it will give you more preference while you are putting up your resume or CV in front of the employer. Like, oh, they'll say like, oh, this guy is already certified, so you will get more preference than the other participants who are non-certified here. So that's the advantage of having the certification, but it's not mandatory. You need to perform well in the interview to get selected for that particular job. That's very much important over here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And did you guys say you guys help out with resumes
Yes, we
after
do.
the training?
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So that's the very important part here. As you have seen, like we have a separate folder for CVs over there. Okay, we have almost 15 to 20 CVs over there from different backgrounds, different experiences. Okay, we encourage our participants to build up their own CVs based upon their experiences, and the pointers you can take it from the standard CVs which are already there over here. Then you send those CVs for our review. So we are going to have one-on-one call with you, and we are going to enhance your CVs accordingly as per the current market standards. And also, not only that, when after you market your CV, once you are getting any invitation for the job interviews, definitely they are going to send you the job description, right? So based upon that job description, we are going to have a one-on-one call with you to tell what exactly you are going to, say into the interview, what not, how you are going to portray yourself. So those things we are definitely going to help you out. It's not only building up of your CV, but also preparing you for the interviews initially, one or two. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. That's just
You're
that's
most
it.
welcome, sir. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, I think last question is from Yashwant. Yeah, Yashwant, please go ahead.
So I just had some concern regarding timing. So my office timings are from 12 to 9. So
Okay.
do we have any weekend batch, or say, because at 8 o'clock I won't be able to attend the sessions, and daily I'll have to go through your recordings and come back to you, or maybe
No,
on chat.
not 8 o'clock. 8:30 p.m. we are starting. 8:30 p.m. Indian time we are starting. But still, you have an option of attending the weekend session as well. Okay.
Right.
Weekend also we have the session that is Saturday and Sunday only on the weekend. That's going to be 7 p.m. IST to 10:30 p.m. IST on Saturday. The same timings are on Sunday also. So
Okay,
you can
fine.
connect with you can connect with our sales team. They are going to help you out for the rest of the timing. Yeah, if these timings are not suitable for you. Even we do have the early morning also. Recently, today was the first class. We have started in the morning, one batch. The timings are 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. So that would be before your working timing. So that is like Monday to Thursday again. Yeah. So anyways, like you can work out with the options with whom you are in touch with. Like, are you in touch with Nikita?
I don't remember the name. I've just saved the number.
Yeah, please. So just connect with her. So she'll be helping out to this one. Okay. Yeah. But Balraj, so I have just answered your query. Like, certification is not really mandatory to complete, but it's going to give you more preference in the job. Yeah. It's not really mandatory. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And thanks a lot, Manoj, for your time and giving the answers so patiently here. So really appreciate your knowledge and the way of delivery of the subject here. Thank you so much, Manoj.
I think it was a teamwork over here, which includes you, me, and everybody, including the participants also.
Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate your generosity, Manoj. Thank you. Okay, guys. So we shall conclude the session for the day. The next session is the first session is on Monday. Okay. So those who are interested, you can register, enroll with us, and you can connect with our sales team, business relationship executives. They'll be helping you out for the process. And we'll have the session on Monday, the first session, the same time, 8:30 p.m. IST. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, guys. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.